Afternoon, everyone. Today is Tuesday, December 10th, 2019. The time is 2:02 p.m. I'm calling this meeting to order. It's our weekly business meeting, and our first item will be the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'm going to ask Nancy Pluff to lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do you care about this?
Yeah.
Maybe not. No, there we go.
We got it. Okay. All right then. So, okay, the first item, I guess, attending the meeting are Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. And we do have a new employee that I'd like to welcome. Is it Sandy?
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, please.
My name is Sandy Stepp. I just recently joined the 911. I'm the new administrative assistant.
So, welcome.
Thank
Good
you
to
so
have
much.
you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay then. So the first item is our consent calendar.
I move that we approve the consent calendar as listed on our business meeting agenda for December 10th, 2019.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, motion carried. Item D, payables list.
I move that we approve the payables for the week of December 2nd through the 6th, 2019, in the amount of $892,740.90. There are no jury panel payments.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, excuse me, motion carried. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Hearing none, moving on to the first of our action items. Item number 1, purchase contract MCC 7500, console edition for Motorola Solutions, KCSO 911, Colin.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Colin McRoy, Kootenai Sheriff's Office 911. This is a purchase contract for to go along with our remodel of the new positions we're adding there. We need the radio console positions to make them usable. This is that purchase contract. We are doing this under the cooperative purchasing of the HGAC contract purchase with Houston, Galveston area cooperative purchasing contract.
Oh.
And Motorola is giving us a $17,000 and some change discount. We have it signed before the 20th of this month, making the total $225,000 even for the cost of this.
And Colin, how much did we budget for this?
Believe $310,000.
Good job.
So,
How did we latch on to Houston? Was it Houston, Galveston?
yes, it's a wide purchasing contract that they allow any other government agency to participate in, and we have the participation agreement signed, and so we get the contract pricing of that.
Good job. Questions? Motion?
I move that we approve the purchase contract for the MCC 7500 console edition for 911.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 2, notice of award development, a FEMA approved update for the multi-jurisdictional all hazard mitigation plan, RMO CAM.
Yes, Kimberly Riley for the record. The request for proposal was received last week at the business meeting. So this is a notice of award to Integrated Solutions Consulting for development of the updated hazard mitigation plan.
Okay. Questions, concerns?
Budget-wise, they came in.
$44,000. Initially, they came in a little bit higher. It was negotiated down to the requested price of $44,000. That's what was budgeted.
Okay. So the company is Integrated Solutions Consulting, but that's not on the
No,
agenda item.
usually
Is that
I
okay?
don't put it on there because you're announcing it
Oh,
at this meeting.
okay.
So
Perfect.
in case you want to not have them do that, then it's
Oh,
not
I
on
see
the
where you're
agenda.
coming
Yeah.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay, good.
Motion?
I move that we approve the notice of award, or that we actually award the multi-jurisdictional all hazard mitigation plan bid to Integrated Solutions Consulting, Inc.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 3, notice of award for hazardous fuel treatment, wildlife urban interface, also known as WUI, fire mitigation for Fernand Lake Natural Area Project, RMO. Kim again.
Yes, this is, also last week, we received a response for a request for qualifications for project management for the hazardous fuel treatment work. We have one response, so we would like the notice of award to go to, have the company here, Steve Lodell, Inland Forest Management, Inc.
Okay, I see it here. Okay. All right. Questions? Motion?
I move that we approve the notice of award for the hazardous fuel treatment in the wildland urban interface fire mitigation to Inland Forest Management, Inc.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 4, affirmation letter, authorization to apply Walmart Local Community Grant, KCSO Holidays and Heroes Program, RMO again, in behalf of our sheriff's organization. Go ahead, Kim.
Yes, is Lieutenant McFarland? Yes, would you like to speak to this, or would you like?
You certainly can.
Well, first, I would like to say, I appreciate you bringing this forward to me. I guess, several times in the past, this has been an opportunity, but nobody has pursued getting this affirmation letter. Once this has been turned in to Walmart with these local community grants, which you can apply for multiple times throughout the year, once this is on record, they can move forward with applying for any of these funds. So it's great that this is getting taken care of. And I'd also like to thank Nancy Jones, who worked with me to get it on your letterhead and get
Good.
it formalized. So this is $3,000 specifically to benefit the Holidays and Heroes program. Even though they've already had that event for this year, this will come in the form of a donation. It will reimburse the funds that were taken out of the donation account.
Okay.
There's no match requirement.
Motion?
I move that we authorize or that we execute the notice of affirmation letter to apply for the Walmart local community grants for KCSO, their Holidays and Heroes program.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Motion carried. Item number 5, MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, amendment to Twin Lakes Spirit Lake Corridor, grant number 15WFM, Kootenai, with RMO again, on behalf of our Office of Emergency Management. Go right ahead, Kim.
Yes, this is our 2015 grant. It's coming to a close. It actually, the performance period was November 30th. So this is just documenting all of the little changes that have been made throughout the duration of this grant, which has been going on for quite some time. So overall, we treated less acres in the HFT work. We picked up extra chipping to go along with that. Because we spent extra time, we were able to use some of the funding to also reimburse our labor, so the money will come back to the county to offset our expenses. So all of those, that's just the highlights, they're all recognized here in the amendment.
Okay. Motion.
I move that the board be authorized to sign the memorandum of understanding, which is the amendment to the Spirit Lake Corridor Grant 15WFM for Kootenai County.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Item number 6, 5339, grant application, Riverstone Transit Center, RMO. Go right ahead, Kim.
Yes, this is the application that was on last week's business meeting. There was one additional item that Glenn Miles from KMPO wanted to have added. So for people that weren't here last week, we've already received an agreement from ITD for this funding, but they wanted us to have the application submitted. So this is that application for the FY18 funds.
Okay, and this application goes to whom? Is it FTA?
It's passed through FTA to ITD, and then it will come to Kootenai County for phase 2 of the transit center.
And the total amount, what is it, 850,000?
This is only 250,000, 200 with 50,000 match.
Oh,
This
okay.
particular application.
This particular one, okay. Understood.
And I believe that KMPO will do some of the outreach in association with this grant application.
I spoke with Jody after you and I had discussed that, yes, so this is just the application piece, and then we'll work together on the public outreach.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Motion.
I move that we approve the 5339 grant application for Phase 2 of the Riverstone Transit Center.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Thank you. Item number 7, consent to sublease Mr. Murdo Cameron and subleasing to Mr. Marlette at the airport. Stephen?
Stephen Kierkegaard for the Commissioners. This is a sublease between Mr. Cameron and Marlette. This brings Mr. Cameron fully into compliance for his issues with leases, and any questions we're happy to answer.
No. The momentous statement.
No laughing.
Okay, I won't laugh. Very important. Okay, motion?
I move that we approve the sublease for Cameron and Marlette at the airport.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Item number 8, ground lease, AAL. Why do I keep thinking American Airlines, but that's okay. AAL-2019-910, Coeur d'Alene T Hangar Association. Airport again, Stephen.
Stephen Kierkegaard for the record. This is a ground lease for an expired lease. This actually updates this lease from, I don't know when this last was actually updated. It goes to $4,092.48. That'd be our current lease rate. That's for a T Hangar Association.
Okay. Questions? Motion?
I move that we approve the ground lease AAL-2019-910 with Coeur d'Alene T Hangar Association.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 9, amendment to the master agreement, work order number 19-03, SRE building planning at the airport. Stephen.
Stephen Kierkegaard for the record. This is actually a planning and preliminary design, is what I would call this, for a future grant. This will be grant eligible. We actually have in 2 years $1 million set aside from the FAA. And if we realistically do not do this preliminary work document, we actually probably will not be able to get that $1 million to get reimbursed, because the FAA expects us in 2021 to begin building the SRE building. And if we aren't planning ahead, we can't get the money.
Now, when you say the SRA, is that no replacement?
It's a snow removal and equipment building,
Okay.
and the FAA expects us to be prepared in 2021 to build this facility. And this money would be coming out of our grant formulation projects, and it's $83,400. But as I said, this is typically more work than we would do in a normal grant formulation for this type of work, because of what type of airport we are, because we're a split between a general aviation, in my opinion, and a commercial service airport. We are having to justify more than what a normal airport would be. So we are having to justify to the FAA that we need them to fund more, and we need a larger facility than the FAA would typically build at a GA airport. And if we don't fund this survey and begin some of this process, we would probably get a one-stall shed, in my opinion.
You must have put an ATV in.
It'd be a 20-foot wide door, and that
Oh,
was it.
okay. Fair enough.
So,
What is the BOCC's role in the process or approving the design or anything like that?
it'll be, well, once we have the plans and as part of this document, there'll be a couple presentations to the BOCC to see that what's been brought up, and you'll to weigh in on what the view and what's the vision for it. Because this building isn't just an SRE building, the plan is to also for the airport admin and also the expanding into, be able to expand into a GA terminal as well. So.
Okay, so, With the federal funds, does this ever revert back to county ownership, or is this kind of,
This will always stop tied to the airport and FAA funds. They're just, with buildings, there is a 20-year grant requirements as well. The airport and the county do own it. It's just it has the federal ties to it for 20 years.
After which,
It still is the county's property. It's just beyond that, it still has the ties because it's on the airport property.
okay.
okay, but
So in
if,
other words, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, so after 20 years, if somehow we had a huge grand benefactor who wanted to support the airport, then those ties could diminish, or,
It could be changed over to if somebody wanted to lease it from the airport to something after 20 years, or purchase out the airport from the grant assurances.
right?
It could happen that way.
Okay, but there are grant assurances after 20 years. I
It's just
guess.
that it has to be an aeronautical use. 'Cause
Okay.
It's on airport property.
And then if we go forward with this, does this mean we have to have a terminal eventually?
Does not mean we have to do it, it's just be planned that we have kind of the ability to expand it into that.
So it would be a necessary first step if we were to proceed at some point with the terminal.
And was,
Not a true terminal. This is a general
General
aviation.
Oh, general, okay.
You're talking a pilot area, it's not you're talking less than probably 3,000 square feet.
Okay.
essentially what an FBO might have now,
Yes.
okay,
Okay.
without the fuel requirements.
Yep.
Okay, and then this 83,000, was that budgeted for 2020?
It would come out of our grant formulation planning for grants.
Okay, so,
So it's,
Jelena, go
excuse
ahead.
me, Jelena.
Jelena.
For the record,
Well, you rhyme, go ahead.
I didn't hear what you called me, but.
I called you Jamila. You just you got an honorary law degree.
Can I have her pay?
now you're in trouble.
I'm
I
not
better
sure.
leave. Go ahead.
It's all on the record. I'm not sure what is budgeted for numbers in that particular thing, but every year they budget a certain amount. And so it comes out, it's still in their operations budget, but it's its own little category underneath their operations budget. We track it separately so that in the event they do get a grant, we are able to roll that into the grant and be reimbursed for those expenses. So there is a budget every year that's included in their operations that covers the pre-formulated grant activity.
Okay, so that's the key here, the pre-formulated.
So in other words, they're planning on getting a grant, so they track it kind of separately so that we can get reimbursed for it.
Got it.
Would we have any idea what the match would be?
It'd be a 90-10.
Oh, okay, and then state may pick up
State.
5.
Pick up 5.
2.5% to 5%, depends on what year it is.
So for the $84,000, it would be like we're on the hook for $4,000.
If we get the,
Yes.
If it's approved.
Yes,
If
if
the
we get
grant's
that, yes.
Okay.
Fair enough.
but my understanding is the admin building, that would be all county cost.
This is just formulating the SRE building. There may be a section of this that isn't going to be, but the vast majority of this is to be for the SRE building. So there may be, say, 15,000 that may not be grant eligible. The FAA has reviewed this, and they've accepted this and view it as an acceptable grant eligible project.
Okay.
So they've already reviewed it and accepted it.
Okay.
Just when it fits into their
Right.
budgetary plan is another question.
Sure.
Okay, motion.
All right, I move that we approve the amendment to master agreement, work order number 19-03 for the SRE building.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Williams.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 11, proposal for engineering services for the Compton Building Sewer Service with Welch
I
Conway.
think we're on number 10.
Yes.
Sorry about that. Item 10, amendment to the master agreement for work order number 19-04, documented KTEX at the airport. Stephen.
Steve Carey, again, for record, this is a CADX, which is better known as a Phase 1 assessment on the airports. What we're doing is Resort and also another gentleman, Brinkmeyer, has requested to build a hangar on the east side of the airport. However, that requires an environmental clearance from the FAA. Both those individuals will be responsible for paying this before we move forward with this. So it's a $5,000 not to exceed contract. It's just that we have this in place when they're ready to move forward. If they don't pay it, we won't move forward with it.
Okay.
Okay.
And then, so this is not involving county buildings,
It may involve, we are showing the possible removal of the old county hangar, which we may have to have a conversation about actually tearing it down, because it may fall down on its own soon. But that's it.
okay.
But we are not building anything, it's just they are.
Okay.
No questions? Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the amendments to master agreement work order number 19-04.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye. Item number 11, proposal for engineering services for the Compton Building Sewer Service with Welch Comer Engineering. Sean Riley in behalf of the BOCC.
Good afternoon, Commissioner. Sean Riley for the record. This is a proposal from Welch Comer in the amount of $5,900 to get a design and a cost estimate to us for the sewer that needs to be hooked at the Compton building. If you remember, when we applied for a permit to build a pole barn to store boats in, the city has an ordinance that if you're next to their property and you're using their water but you're not using their sewer, you must within 1 year hook up. So this is to have Welch Comer do it. I think I copied you on the email. If we could get this done, we could save about $5,000 because we're gonna combine this as an add alternate to the phase 3 of the RV park. So that would save us all the mobilization fees if we had to have somebody come back and do it. We were looking at trying to put it into the new line that we brought out of the jail expansion, but there's restrooms in the lower part of the Compton building, so we're gonna have to go straight north and hook into Dalton.
Do we have any idea when the septic was last pumped there?
Tom said they have it done once a year.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's routine.
okay.
And you know, we have not determined where the funding is gonna come from any of this yet. I think there's enough money. The fuel tank's coming out in 2 weeks, and that's gonna close up that project. So I think there's at least enough money in the jail expansion left over to at least get started on this.
Okay.
Dina?
We have, as of today, we have $294,801 sitting in the jail expansion reserve.
But that's still not with the tanks finished yet.
We owe half of the tank, which is about $20,000, and then the next one is the cleanup costs and pulling the tank. So we're probably, there may, depending on what it costs, there may be enough right there to pay for the whole sewer system. But we're not gonna know that until we get Welch Comer. So maybe if Dina wants to set up a project code for this project, because it's gonna happen, there's just no way it's not gonna happen. Then we could track the costs in there, and then when the jail expansion is done, the board could decide then if they wanted to take some of that money. By then, Welch Comer should have an estimate on the work, and then we could move the funds into a project of its own.
Okay. Well done. Motion.
I move that we accept the proposal for engineering services for the Compton Building Sewer Service with Welch Comer. At this point, not to exceed $5,900, which will come from the jail expansion fund.
Second the motion.
Right.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 12, proposal for Able Cleanup Able Cleanup Technologies, Inc. Sheriff's Organization, Sean Riley.
Which one are we on? It's-
Number 12.
Your tank.
Cleanup tank.
I had mine in reverse order, sorry about that. So this is part of the fuel tank issues out of the jail. This is a proposal with Able Cleanup. Base cost is $10,530. The only undetermined factor here is how much fuel has to be pumped out, what condition the fuel is in, and if there's more. The tank in the ground is 3,500 gallons, and the tank above ground is 2,500 gallons. So we already know there's too much. We run it once a week, so it may not be as much as we think, but some of it's gonna have to be transported somewhere else. So there's kind of an open-ended thing here. There's plenty of money in the jail expansion to pay for it. We don't know exactly how much fuel is in there. That's what caused the spill.
Is there anything, any other place, any other county organization that can use this fuel?
It's red dye diesel, I think. I can look into it.
So it's
Stephen, would you have
911?
a use for that?
I mean, snow season's coming.
Back to you on that one.
What's that?
I'll get back to you on
Okay.
that one.
We're gonna do it on the 16th of December, so
Okay.
just let me know. I can look around, I can send an email, but I'm not sure if it would cost us more to have them go drop 300 gallons at the airport, 400 gallons over here, as opposed to just taking it to someplace in Spokane. And I don't know what condition it's in.
Sean, what's red dye diesel?
It's off-road diesel.
Oh, okay.
You run it through generators,
Oh,
farmers
okay.
use it on their
There's
tractors.
snow equipment removal that's not on the
Okay.
street.
Yeah, anything that's not on the
Okay,
street
okay.
can be used for that.
Understood. Motion?
Okay, I move that we accept the proposal with Able Cleanup Technologies, Inc. At the base cost of $10,530 for the cleanup at the
Jail.
At the
jail. Thank you.
Jail, underground storage tank.
Underground storage tank's what I was looking at. Thank
I
you.
second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item 13, change order with TML Construction for the 911 storage building project. Sean?
Okay, Commissioners, this is a really small change order. Glad that it wasn't more. It's $650 with TML for the 911 storage building. There was some unsuitable material that was laying on the base where we wanted to pour the pad. And so they were thinking originally they were gonna have to take it all out like you do on a parking lot and go down 1.5 feet. But All West was able to do some testing and determined that if we used a certain method, we could sort through, if you will, the non-suitable. And it took the contractor a little bit longer to do that, so that's basically what this is for, is their time. It still saved us over $3,000, so I thought it would be a good use of money and time.
Motion.
I move that we approve the change order for TML Construction on the 911 storage building project.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item 14, advisory board reappointments for Johnson and DeGroot to the Aquifer Protection District.
Yes, I'm kind of filling in for Nancy Jones, and so this is just the appointments that we asked to bring forward from our status updates. And so with Aquifer Protection, it would be Johnson and DeGroot until 2022.
I second the motion.
Oh, well, I
That
move
wasn't a
that we, I move that we,
Oh, you didn't make a formal motion?
no,
Oh,
I was
I'm
just
sorry.
saying what it was.
Presenting.
I was saying what it was, sorry. I move that we make the advisory board reappointments with Johnson and DeGroot for Aquifer Protection District.
Okay.
I'll remove that. Move that.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item 15, advisory board reappointments, Albertson, Elliott, Kindig, Levine, Board of Community Guardians.
Yes, so this would be through 2023, and these are all reappointments. So I move that we approve the reappointments, Albertson, Elliott, Kindig, Levine for Board of Community Guardians.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item number 16, advisory board reappointment of Hanson and a new appointment, Odland, to noxious weed control.
Yes, and this will be until 2021. And so I move that we approve or the reappointment of Hanson and the new appointment of Odlin to the Noxious Weed Control Board.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Item 17, Advisory Board reappointment of Schnepp and a new appointment Watkinson and Ryder to the Natural Resource Advisory Board.
Yes, and these will be good until 2022. And I move that we approve the reappointment of Schneff and the appointment of Wakenen and Ryder to the Natural Resource Advisory Board.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion is carried. Item 18, Advisory Board reappointment of Brown to the Historic Preservation Commission.
Yes, and this will be through 2022 as well. And I move that we reappoint Brown to the Historic Preservation Commission.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, motion carried. Final action item, Advisory Board reappointment of Ryder and Johnson to the Fair Board and appointing Sheets, again, to the North Idaho Fair Board.
Yes, and also Mr. Fair in there.
Oh.
Yeah,
we missed-
so.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that, sorry.
Yeah, and this is for 2024. Statute goes for 4 years on these. So I move that we approve the reappointments of Ryder and Johnson and Fair, and then the new appointment of Sheets to the North Idaho Fair Board.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Public comment. None. 2:34, meeting adjourned. Thank you.